Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have gathered around for me to upset you guys again. I want to talk to you about the brand new modifier that has stumbled into Dead by Daylight's fog, and that is the 2 versus 8 mode. Yes, it is a full mode. It's not a modifier. It's not just a regular DBD game with a twist. It's completely an entire new mode. And it has graced us with its presence starting with the 25th of July. It is going to be here for you guys to be entertained with the 8th of August. Before we get into all of the things that I personally don't like about the 2v8 mode and the things that I would change about it, make sure that you're firstly subscribed. And this is going to be a sibling video of the Everything I Hate About Chaos Shuffle modifier video. Buckle up, because we're going to have a lot of things to talk about. Starting with the beginning, here are some of the things that you should know about 2v8. What is it? What's happening with it? What can you do with it? What can you play? I'm going to be answering all of that. So, the 2v8 mode is exactly what it is. There's 2 killers versus 8 survivors. There are only 5 killers available to play during the 2v8 mode, and that is going to be Trapper, Wraith, Billy, Nurse, and Huntress. However, you can play whatever survivor under the sun you'd like. Yes, even licensed ones. There's absolutely no exceptions for survivors. Yay! But what's gonna happen is everybody gonna be able to run Dead Hard, Unbreakable, Decisive, No-Ed, Pain Res, and all the boring things. No! Absolutely no way, shape, or form. This is something completely different from whatever you may expect from your regular Dead by Daylight game. And what I mean by that is that survivors are going to be grouped in classes. We're going to get into the depth of that in a minute. And killers, the 5 ones that are featured in this mode, they have something special, like a twist on their regular powers. And we're going to get into all of that right now. Let's start with the survivors and their classes. There are 4 big classes that survivors can choose from, and that is Medic, Guide, Scout, and Escapist. Now, each of these classes has available 3 perks on theme with each class. For example, the Medic category. They grant nearby survivors a heal speed boost, they see auras of injured survivors, and you have faster healing speed. Guide. Reveal your aura and the generator's aura to your team when repairing, see generator auras, and great skill checks boost your progress on the generator. Number 3, Scout. Reveal the killer aura when they break a pallet wall or damage a generator. Reveal the killer's aura to team when the killer is in your line of sight, and make no sound when injured. And the last but not least, my personal favorite, Escapist. You have shared sprint burst, you reveal the aura of windows, breakables, and pallets, and you also run faster when injured. You can already imagine what it is to expect when you have all these classes and all these perks and specific things for each. You can pick and choose whatever you want. The perks corresponding to each category is going to be present in the loadout part of the lobby whenever you choose to go into the 2v8, and all of these extra details are going to be present there as well, so you're going to be fully informed the moment you decide you want to commit to a specific class. Something that is really, really important and needs to be mentioned is that no more than 4 survivors can opt in for one specific category. So you can have only a max of 4 medics or a max of 4 guides, but it can't be more than 4. So they have a limit so things don't get out of hand. Imagine 8 escapists where everybody's just like running around like a headless chicken and everybody's boosting with sprint burst each other and they get faster when they're injured and all that. So no, no, that's not a thing. And I really appreciate Dead by Daylight and Behavior for placing that limit. I think that's fine and I think that's healthy. Personally, I love the classes. I love all of their boosts. As I said, my personal favorite is Escapist, but I also really like Guide. I kind of fell in love with the extra progress that's added to the generators when you're hitting great skill checks, because as a veteran, We grew up with Old Ruin where you had to hit great skill checks in order to maintain and to add progress. Otherwise, you're just gonna get like a thing on the generator and it's going to stagnate. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Those of you that didn't experience it and didn't live through it, bless your heart. Anyway, as I said, I loved Escapist and Guide. I didn't really play with Medic. It wasn't really my type of thing. I'm not really the most altruistic survivor. I do enjoy having one perk that allows me to recover very quickly in a situation that requires me to be altruistic, but not here where I have like an entire class dedicated just to altruism. And Scout was also like not really my thing. I mean, I preferred either sitting on gens or being there in the middle of the action and being that annoying little that killers hated. And not to even mention, I made some raids cry here and there, but whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. Now let's talk about the killer skills. We have already talked about survivors and everything that entails that part of the deal, but now let's focus a little bit on our menaces. Just a little bit. So, for example, as I said, in this mode, we only have available Trapper, Wraith, Hillbilly, Nurse, and Huntress. So let's see what kind of twist Dead by Daylight has decided to place upon them and their powers. With Trapper, you have faster trap setting, and whenever you set traps, you give your teammate a speed boost. Plus, you get more traps. This sounds easy. This is the most basic thing. It's the easiest thing, the oldest trick in the book. All right, perfect. Moving on to Wraith. The Wraith makes nearby teammates undetectable when it's cloaking, and you also uncloak and cloak faster, and you also move faster while cloaked. Again, this is very vanilla, very basic, but it can really, really punish survivors, especially with a Wraith that knows what he's doing. This one has been a fan favorite, especially in my games. I don't know why, but let's see what the Huntress has to say. Your hatchet hits reveal survivor auras, and you also have faster movement without hatchets. You also get more hatchets and faster reloading. So you're going to be able to catch those nasty little rats, and you're going to be able to not lose them while in chase. Not to mention that this is going to be a very important teammate that you'd like to have in your games, because Huntresses have been something else. Next, the Hillbilly. You have reduced collision cooldowns, and you also expose survivors while chainsaw sprinting. Your chainsaw has more control and no longer insta-downs. I think the Hillbilly is the only killer that really has a downside to his power. You can no longer insta-down survivors anymore, but again, maybe I just have not seen a capable Billy in my games yet. I don't think that I've ever been exposed by a Billy that has been like, you know, roaming the map with the chainsaw. I don't know. I don't know. The Hillbilly has never been a favorite on my servers. And now, the Nurse. You get extended lounge and additional blink while near teammates, and you get bigger chain blink window, and you also have reduced fatigue. This is going to make Nurse enthusiasts even more eager to try her out, because you're going to have less windows to make mistakes, or you're going to be recovering faster from them. Either way, I feel like everything over here is a win-win. The favorite pair I've seen in my games, and by favorite pair I mean every single game that I've had, was just Wraith and Huntress, because they make a crazy team, with Wraith being super fast while cloak, plus giving the undetectable to Huntress, and her, you know, revealing survivors' auras when they're hit with the hatchet. It's the perfect tag team. And honestly, I'm kind of tired of it. The way I see it, I really think that this is just a stepping stone in the right direction to make this a permanent mode and to bring over a wide variety of killers and other powers. We are not done talking about the 2v8. We've established what survivors are doing and what the killers are planning, but let's just talk a little bit about the setting of where all of this activity is going to take place in. We have 5 realms at our disposal, and that is as it follows: Macmillan Estate, Auto Heaven Wreckers, the Red Forest, Crotus Asylum, and Coldwind Farm. These 5 maps have been enlarged and they have went through some big transformation. You're not going to recognize it when you first step on it. It's just far bigger. It has a lot of things on it. Of course, it's going to be a lot more clutter, a lot more things to bump into, and it's going to be at first a bit confusing because you're used to the current layout that we have in normal Dead by Daylight matches. But they have been adjusted so that they can fit 8 survivors and 2 killers. Something that's worth noting is the fact that there are no hooks on these maps. So you may be wondering, but how are killers going to kill? How are they going? Let me demonstrate. The moment a survivor is down, the killer stomps on them and they automatically get transferred to a cage randomly on the map. So it's not going to be anywhere near the killer or somewhere specific. They're just going to happen randomly. If you will, this process is very, very similar to the cages of atonement from Pyramid Head. They work exactly the same, and not just from the matter of how the hooking per se happens or the caging per se happens, but also for the fact that if the killer stays too close for too long, the placement's going to be randomized again and you're going to wander on the other side of the map. Survivors only have to repair 8 out of 13 generators. So again, as I said, a lot of clutter, a lot of extra things. Don't even get me started with chests. There's 20 of them. There's 3 exit gates, 3 hatches. It's absolutely insane. The amount of things on this on these maps are they're just amazing. And I'm so glad that they have found a way to make this happen. It's been something that the community's been asking for a long time. So it's really good to have it here and for it to be real instead of just a mode on a different server. One other detail that needs to be talked about for the survivors is after 2 cage states, survivors can heal themselves with a built-in self-care just once, or when they're down, they can pick themselves up in a manner similar to Soul Guard. So the moment you pick yourself up, you're also going to have a very, very tiny window of borrow time. This should help counter with the worries that there may be tunneling or slugging or extra anything. I have not personally encountered any of these, but I have heard things. But again, we're going to discuss in just a second the things that I would prefer to be different. Survivors can also not enter with items in the matches. There are, however, as I said previously, 20 chests from which survivors can have whatever they want and whatever the luck they bear will give them. Items from brown to purple flashlights. It really doesn't matter. Maybe the only ones that are really, really good here are toolboxes and medkits, really. Because flashlights are just completely useless unless you just use them in order to maybe help yourself cut a chase shorter when the killer's breaking a pallet or when they're vaulting a window, but you can't really perform flashlight saves because, as I said, the manner of the caging is very, very, very fast. It's very sudden. You don't know exactly when and how things are going to happen. Now, let's talk a little bit about my personal feedback for the 2v8 mode. So I love the mode. I think it's really, really, really fun. I don't know what kind of longevity it could have in the long run, but I assume that a lot of the burnout, if you will, I don't even know what to call it because it's such a short time frame to be talking about burnout, but I just feel like it's the fact that there's only 5 killers to go against. You're going to find very repetitive scenarios as survivor. You're going to find always the same. As I said, for me, it was always Wraith and Huntress, Wraith and Huntress, Wraith and Huntress. I think I've seen Billy, Nurse, and Trapper. Trapper I've seen twice, but Nurse, and Billy only once. And I feel like if we had like a bigger array of killers to choose from, it would be much better. But again, when we're talking about bringing more killers to this mode, we also have to consider their adjacent powers, like the other objectives that you have to deal with. For example, how would we integrate the pig's traps in this whole ordeal, or Pinhead's cube, you know, things like that. Also, if we're going to bring in Pyramid Head, he's just going to be doing the same thing. For him, is going to be absolutely nothing special. It's just going to be a regular game for him. Again, I don't know. It's definitely something that I wouldn't wish to have to deal with, because that's going to require a lot of research, a lot of hours on testing and, you know, figuring everything out and making sure that nothing clashes with anything, but still bringing a unique, fun twist to each killer's powers. Now, for survivors, it feels a bit... I don't even know what to say, because there's games when the generators are flying, because you don't have to repair for the same amount of seconds. The generators in the 2v8 take shorter time to be repaired. So sometimes, you know, they be flying. You don't even have the time to figure out who your teammate is, for example. I don't know. Or to see all survivors and all generators are done. And then there's other times when killers are just so vicious and so serious into playing this that you don't even have time to touch a generator or do anything else or find someone or anything. I've seen so many tag teams that have been like very cruel. I've had, for example, as I said, a Huntress and a Wraith. The Huntress used to like send someone to a cage, and the Wraith would already be there by the time someone would go for the rescue. So they would immediately have someone else to down and to chase and to cage again. It's just something like that. Also, not to mention double teaming on one survivor. Again, you know, to sandwich them in the middle. Again, you see, this is sending me back to this whole idea that it's sort of like Knight. We're gonna have 3 killers to deal with. Like, we're gonna have the guard, the Knight, and the teammate. You see, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, I really want this to be a permanent thing. Of course. First things first, I want Chaos Shuffle to be a permanent thing, because you're not gonna catch me playing regular DBD ever again if Chaos Shuffle ever makes it into my daily permanently. But again, that's just a modifier that's tiny, itty bitty, whatever, we've talked about it. But the 2v8 mode, God, as I said, this requires a lot of commitment, a lot of research, a lot of professionalism. You really need to think everything through. They really need to pick every single killer and turn it on every side to make sure that it doesn't clash with anything else. I feel like the generators are moving too fast. I'm a survivor main, and I don't appreciate that that generators are moving so fast. Either add some generators to the amount that we have to complete before we power the gates, or lower the number of survivors. I mean, I feel like 6 or 7 survivors instead of 8. But again, that would like ruin the whole 2v8 vibe. So I feel like adding some generators to do would be the perfect compromise here. One last thing that I do not appreciate about this is sweaty gamers on each side. And yeah, I'm talking about you, killer bullies, you nasty survivors, you rats, you pushing all the gens and like not taking hits or not taking care of anyone and not caring about anything but pushing generators. Again, that's not really that much of a problem because there's classes. So if you're going to be a generator focused guy, you're not going to take chases and stuff like that. But still, like just hiding and allowing other people to always take chases instead of taking turns, that's not good. That's not cool. But my biggest bone that I have to pick is with you. Those of you killers out there that are doing 8 slug streaks? Are you insane? What for? What? Why? Why is that even a thing? Why are you doing that for? Why? That's just so counterproductive. I'm at a loss of words. Like when I've seen people and when I've seen posts about it emerge, I was like, what is going on? You see, maybe it took us this long to have a 2v8 mode, maybe because we don't freaking deserve it. And by us, I mean you. You literally have insta hooks. Insta hooks! You just stomp on their head and you send them to high heavens. Why are you slugging? What on earth is making you slug? God, makes me so mad. You guys are not ruining just like 2 or 3 people's fun. You're ruining 8 people's fun. So I hope that you guys are happy with that. And if you're asking like, how could that even happen? Don't even freaking get me started with that. Because camping a slug in 2v8 is probably the easiest thing ever, especially with 2 killers. Oh, but the maps are so big. Shut up. Okay. Anyway, I feel like this is gonna conclude my entire video about the 2v8. We've talked about what it is, things that I like to see different, things that I don't like. I'm really hoping that DVD is going to make this and the Chaos Shuffle modifier into permanent things that we could opt in to play, because we've seen for the past 8 years that it can be a lot to do just regular DVD. There's, you know, people and people, games and games. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Again, I feel like we need a little bit of seasoning and spice into our lives, and Chaos Shuffle modifier and the 2v8 mode is going to bring just that in. So, without further ado, I'm gonna invite you guys to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you guys enjoyed my little slugging rant and fun events that are totally not serious, the devs literally said so. What the heck is wrong with you? Tell me what you like best about the 2v8 mode, what killer you like to see added next into the rotation, and what are some of the things that you would change about the 2v8 mode. Thank you so much guys for watching, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye!